Right before I started in ninth grade, I went on a mission trip with my church. I came home from that trip and I read my Bible through that entire summer. And I remember going to my pastor. When I was called to his office, I opened the door and I burst in and I was like, I want to know how to be a summer missionary. He provided me an opportunity to volunteer at the church. I learned all kinds of things. People invested in me and loved me, which was really important because around that same time is when my mom started showing signs of her mental illness and started becoming very abusive. And I clung to that church because it was my safe place. Through those opportunities, I got a scholarship to Mary Hardin Baylor. And while I was there, I just wanted to show God how much I loved him and how all the stuff I could do for him. And so I was on staff at a church and I spoke in chapels and was on a student-led revival team. I finally got to do summer missions and I was a summer missionary all 3 summers. And I didn't realize until later in my life that my motivation was off. My husband and I separated, and my church, rightfully so in some ways, said, you can't be the youth pastor anymore. You can't lead worship anymore. You're in sin and you need to fix it. After Joe and I divorced, I had to do something to take care of my family, and I ended up at Texas A&M getting a master's degree, and then the only job I could find was in San Antonio. And I lived there for 11 years, and that was the longest I'd lived anywhere in my entire life. So while I was there, I remarried, and that did not go well or end well. But it wasn't a mistake because I have Eliana, and anybody who's met her can say, yes, she is definitely a gift from the Lord. Wesley, my oldest son, was starting school here at Mary Hardin Baylor and has some health issues. So I thought, well, maybe I'll kind of move there. And so logically, there were a lot of things that made sense about moving here. As I was doing alumni things or coming to football games and seeing people that I went to school with who were still married to the same person, still vocational pastors, still, they had the life that I had wanted. There were times when I would come to the school and I would smile and I would talk to people, and then I'd go home and cry for 3 days because it hurt. It was hard, and I mourned the loss of a lot of things in my life that I thought I had come to grips with, but apparently hadn't. And then came my visit to Renewal Church. And in those quiet moments of worship, God began to whisper things to me like, you've been trying to find this love to fill you, and I've been here all along. You haven't wanted to listen or believe me, but I've been right here. And he also said, what's keeping you from the fullness of what I've had for you is that you think the plan that you had 25 years ago and that your actions or choices over the past years have somehow kicked me off my throne. And although it's this self-deprecating, like you're not good enough anymore, you don't deserve to serve, you're not a Christian leader kind of thing, it's still pride. Everything was about me, even though it was selfless on the outside and I was sacrificing a lot to serve others and to serve God. In the very deepest heart of it, I was trying to heal me when God had already done it, and I didn't really believe it. I wanted to believe that God really loved me and that I was here for a purpose. But deep inside, I doubted how a God could love me when my own mom didn't. How did I do this wrong when I meant to do it so right? I told my friend that I had prayed with all my heart that God would use me and that I would be 100% His and sold out for Him. And that it didn't matter to me what it cost. what it meant, what I had to pay or give up, but that was what I wanted. And as I look back over my life, all the missteps was God answering that prayer of a 20-something-year-old girl who said, I want you more than anything else. And he faithfully, purposefully, lovingly, mercifully worked that out in my life over and over and over again, and has finally brought me to the point where I can see it. I'm hoping that that truth, although I haven't completely learned it, and I know I'm not completely free of doing it in my own power and on my own, that the next 25 years or however long of my life will be marked by the real freedom and the real depth of joy that he designed for me all along.